welcome to our Vistatec Life Sciences in Focus podcast, fascinating conversations with global life sciences experts. I'm Maria Mateos, and today we are talking about regulatory affairs, specifically in the Latin American region. And for that, we have a marvelous guest, Stephanie Moreta from Vera Rosas. Welcome, Stephanie. We're delighted to have you today here. Stephanie is a regulatory affairs professional with over 15 years of experience in regulatory affairs, quality, auditing, and orthopedics medical devices. She's with Vera Rosas now, and she helps companies navigate Brazilian complex regulations to secure market authorization for high-risk devices. And she has experience in Brazilian laws, quality systems, several ISO certifications, and device lifecycle management. She's all about bringing innovative solutions into the market. And as a personal note, she's based in Florianopolis, beautiful beaches, beautiful place. And I will silence now and let her speak. Stephanie, hi, welcome again.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So it's a pleasure to be here and we have this great opportunity to join this podcast. Thank you, Maria, for the opportunity.
Stephanie, you have plenty of experience in regulatory affairs, quality, auditing. I'm sure you could have picked any company in Brazil or globally. So I'm very curious to know why you chose Vera Rosas.
Well, Vera Rosas is the biggest and one of the best regulatory affairs consulting companies in Brazil. And the company also is a pioneer in providing regulatory affairs services and is very well known nationally and internationally. And also working in Vera Rosas provides me with a great opportunity to learn personally and professionally. Besides that, Vera Rosas has a huge number of medical devices approvals in Anvisa. And since we assist several renowned companies, we get in touch with the best healthcare technologies. So I consider the role of Vera Rosas is beyond assisting our clients to bring their products into the Brazilian market, but it contributes to enhance the Brazilian healthcare system as a whole with the most advanced technology.
Wow, thank you very much for sharing, Stephanie. And I can very much relate to the way we work with our own clients as well. I'm amazed that we are so much aligned here. And diving a bit deeper into regulatory challenges, mainly in this region, what would you say that are the most common regulatory challenges faced by your clients that desire to introduce products in Brazil?
Yeah, well, Anvisa, it's our Brazilian health regulatory agency, and it's known by its rigorous standards and complex processes. This can bring some challenges for companies looking to introduce their products into the Brazilian market. It's important to mention that Anvisa has its own classification system. So in Brazil, we have medical devices divided into 4 risk classes. There is classes 1 and 2 that follow the pathway of notification. And this is considered a simplified process and can have the approval published in around 30 days. So classes 3 and 4 follow the registration pathway. And this is a more complex process where a challenge we see frequently is about timelines and the lack of predictability. The registration process demands the submission of the complete technical dossier of the product, including clinical evaluation and performance assessments. The analysis of these documents can take considerable time. So this this can lead to delay products launches into the market. Not only that, but the lack of predictability also is a challenge, because sometimes we have had some situations where one document was analyzed by a technician, and this document was approved, and the same document was analyzed by another technician, and this document got questions. So we know this is something common in the regulatory field and in another regulatory agencies, but this is something that it's a challenge with Anvisa, and sometimes our clients don't understand.
Yeah, well, I understand that, and I guess it's not easy to deal with lack of predictability, and well, turnaround times seems to be like a common struggle across industries, right? So in your experience, do you have any tips for our audience on how these challenges can be managed or at least mitigated?
Yes. Well, the main tip is the company to have a local partner in Brazil specialized with Anvisa's regulation. Although Anvisa is a member of the IMDRF, and remains increasingly harmonized with other members countries, there are still some particularities to be met. We as a consulting company always provide our clients with our checklists that contain the necessary documentation to be presented to Anvisa.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, Stephanie, but checklists, I love that. Those who work with me know how much I love checklists. Those are very useful, and so happy to hear that you use checklists too.
Yes, this is a crucial document here in our activities. So we present this to our clients, and this makes very easier to the clients to present their documents for us. So in this checklist, we point out many crucial observations that can be included in the regulation or not. And we as regulatory professionals know that sometimes the regulation is not clear enough in some aspects. Therefore, our expertise certainly helps the companies to avoid problems. Besides the checklists, we also meet with manufacturers directly. This facilitates the clarification of some documents that our clients may have, and some other specific questions. And finally, we advise the companies to find a local legal representative, something that is mandatory here in Brazil. And this local legal representative must be reliable and provide certain flexibility to the manufacturer to work with different distributors, since Brazil is a big country, and therefore covering the whole territory can be a challenge. And the local legal representative is also called hosting companies. This is also a service we can offer here to our clients.
Wow, that's very interesting, and we sometimes take for granted today with internet and global communications that we can handle anything from anywhere, but how important is to have someone locally who knows the regulations, who is on top of every update of those regulations. So I know we both have met at RAPS, so we were both doing our due diligence of keeping ourselves informed of latest updates and trends. So I'd like to know, how frequently do regulatory requirements change in Brazil, and maybe what mechanisms are in place for staying updated with these changes? to make sure you can provide that help to your clients?
Mhm. Well, regulations don't change very often in Brazil. However, in the past 3 years, we have had some changes in the main medical devices regulations. But we don't expect to see any important change anytime soon. And the best way to stay up to date with the upcoming changes is to follow Anvisa's channels, such as the website and LinkedIn. The website inclusive, you can find the English version. And every time that some regulation has some change, we provide our clients our informative that is sent by email with a summary of the changes and possible actions they may have to take.
Wow, that must be very, very useful. And speaking of updates and attending to conferences, something we have discussed a lot during our last conferences in regulatory affairs is harmonization efforts. So are there any ongoing efforts towards global regulatory harmonization in Brazil?
Yes, Anvisa already joined some harmonization programs such as MDSAP and IMDRF. And besides that, documentation required in our current legislation is already harmonized with the new MDR. And the latest effort Anvisa announced was the publication of the instruction IN 290 from April 2024. And this normative establishes an optimized procedure for analysis to leverage approvals by an equivalent foreign regulatory authority, the ARI. The countries that are part of the ARI are Japan, Canada, Australia, and the USA. And it's commonly known as the Reliance route.
Oh, wow. And Stephanie, what would be the benefits of, can you elaborate a bit more on the benefits of this normative?
Sure. Yes, the normative has brought many benefits, especially in terms of time analysis. For instance, a process that is analyzed in the ordinary path takes around 12 months or more due to the questions received about the documentation. However, the processes that go through the optimized analysis have less chances to receive questions. So the approval can be published after the first analysis that usually happens in around 6 to 9 months, depending on the product. So in view of this, we strongly recommend our clients to go through the optimized path.
Well, yeah, I at a first glance, I would already agree on that. And in terms of documentation and compliance, so to give our audience a broad image of how this works in Brazil, how strict are compliance requirements compared to maybe other regions like the US or the EU?
Yes, well, as I said before, Anvisa is a member of IMDRF, and its requirements is as strict as the US and the European Union, and many of them are harmonized. According to our expertise, products approved by FDA or European Union have more chances to be approved in Brazil. However, Brazilian regulations still have some particularities, especially related to clinical evaluation and the performance assessments. So it's important that the company knows the regulation and have a local partner to check with details the documents that can be considered witness during the submission process.
Well, that makes sense. And I guess it's good news that they are aligned. It should make the process smoother. And Well, here at Vistatec, we help our clients with localization and translation of regulatory documents. So let me ask you a little about that. Is there any requirement regarding the language in the documents to be presented to Anvisa?
Yes, according to our current legislation, the documentation to be presented in the dossier must be in English, Spanish, or Portuguese. And the legal documents such as authorization letter and the certificate of registration follow the same rule. And a sworn translation of the apostille consularization seal is required in the language, if the language is not in English and Portuguese or Spanish.
Okay, well, it's good to know that they can take either English, Portuguese, or Spanish. That gives some options. I know there are some countries that only accept their local language. Well, Stephanie, it's been such a pleasure talking to you, and I know we must come to an end. So thank you so much for being our guest today. And before we go, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, if any company desires to introduce their products in the Brazilian market, we are more than welcome to assist them, and we have many services to present. So that is my suggestion.
Good, and I'm sure they will be in amazing hands. So thanks again for your insights, and thank you to our audience as well. This Life Sciences in Focus podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other leading platforms as well. So if you prefer to watch it, you can go to YouTube, for example. Please make sure to tune again next month for Vistatec Life Sciences in Focus. Fascinating conversations with our global life sciences experts.